That's correct. He is always on time. Welcome to It's Getting Better All the Time Mental Health Outreach with your host, Sister Alik Degree, where hope is always an option. Today I wanted to talk about, share something, three things. Three things as a child you do not deserve. So if you're listening to me and you are under the age of 18, or basically what I'm going to say applies to anyone, but I just really want to speak to people under 18 right now. I think it's important to know that as a child under 18, number one, you are not responsible for being your parents' advisor, right? You're not responsible for taking care of everybody in the family. You're not responsible for and again, I'm not talking about sometimes helping out, but there are some children that are placed in positions that they should not be placed in, right? So, number one, let me go with my list. You are not to be sexually abused, right? You were not put in this earth to be sexually abused. As a child, God created you for a purpose and for a plan, and the purpose and the plan that He created you for is not to be someone else's sexual object or sex toy. No one should be touching you. No one should be coming in and out of your bed. That includes your mother, your father, your stepfather, your mother's boyfriend, your father's girlfriend, whatever the case is. Your bed is your bed. No, your brother, sister, no one. No one should be coming in and out of your bed. No one should be touching you. That grandfather, that uncle, that brother, that mother, whoever it is that's touching you and making you engage in sexual acts, that person has a problem. The problem is not you. The problem is them, right? And there are people out here who will help you. Do not believe the lies. Because what they will do, they will cause you to, they'll say things to you, don't tell. Because if you tell, people are going to think it's your fault. Don't tell because, I'm going to move. Or if you tell, then they're going to put us out. Or if you tell, people are going to be angry. No, that is not your responsibility. You are not God. You're not anybody's savior. Your body is your body. Your body does not belongs to the community, right? That's your mother's boyfriend. That's not your boyfriend, right? That's your father's problem. It's not your problem. You are not created here on earth to be sexually abused, physically abused. So number one, as a child, you are not to be sexually abused. People should not be having you walk around naked. You are not supposed to be your parent's slave. That is not the plan for your life. So when people are saying, well, a lot of times people are praying, well, God, why did you put me in this situation? I'm praying. I'm asking, to get out of this situation. Why am I in here? Number one, God didn't put you in that situation. What put you in that situation, is a whole nother conversation that I won't get into here, but just know God didn't put you in that situation. What happens is we have some people who are evil, people who are wicked, and some of these people are people that we love, okay? And it's okay. It's okay to say, hey, I have a wicked mother, I have a wicked father, I have a stepfather who is just mean, and it's okay to say those things and then love them at the same time. Okay, so don't, sometimes we feel like there's a lot of feelings because I love my mother. But it's okay to say I love my mother, I love my father, but what they are doing is wrong. Right? So number one, when you say, where is God? As you're wondering, you're getting all these beatings and you are being sexually abused and, you have to have sex before you go to school. You go to school, you get home, he's picking you up so he can have more sex with you and you're only 10, 11, 12 years old. That is not God's plan for your life. And it's not your fault that you're in this situation. So when you ask, where is God? Why I am in this situation? Well, I want to let you know that if you're listening to this broadcast, then your prayers have been answered. Because there's a number that I want to share with you. It's a 1-800 number. It's 1-800-422-4453, and it's the Child Helpline. 1-800-422-4453. If you're unable to get to this number, then you need to report to anybody. I don't care if it's the police station. If you tell the police one time and they bring you back and nothing happens, you tell another police officer. If that police officer doesn't help you, then you tell the fire department. If the school is not helping you, you go to the to the emergency room and talk to a doctor there. It is critical that you get out of that situation. It is critical that you understand, child, whoever I'm talking to, male or female, you were not put on this earth to be sexually abused. What that adult is doing to you is wrong. It is not your fault. It's nothing that you did. They are the person that has the problem, not you. They are the problem. The person that's sneaking in your room at night, that person that's getting in your bed, that grandfather, that older brother, that older cousin, they are the ones with the problem, not you. Your body was not designed. God never designed for you to have to be the community sex toy for everybody in your family. It is not your responsibility as a 12, 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old to take on the responsibility for your family. Okay, your mother, father's like, oh, let him go ahead and do it to you so we have a place to stay. That is not your responsibility to provide for a place to stay. So number one, you do not have to be sexually abused, physically abused, being touched, having fondled, somebody squeezing your breast, hitting you in your butt, all that type of stuff. That you don't have to put up with that. Okay, you do not have to put up with that because God never created you for that purpose. They are wrong, and they are the ones with the problem. You do not have the problem. There's nothing that you did. They are the problems. The adults around you, the older cousins, they are the ones with the problem. And if you are listening to this, I want you to know that there are people out here who care about you. There are people out here who do not want you to be in that situation. 1-800-422-4453, and this is the number to Child Help. If you are unable to call that number, then I would suggest you call the teacher. If the teacher, the principal, they're not doing anything, all they're doing is taking you back home, then you need to call a police officer. Go to a police officer. If that police officer is not doing anything, then you go to another police officer. If that police officer is not doing anything, then you go to fire department. You go to the hospital. Because what happens is, under the law, there are certain professions that are mandated reporters. And sometimes they don't always report, but we have to remind them that they do have a responsibility. Medical doctors, primary care doctors, doctors in the emergency room, police officers, firefighters, clinicians such as myself, we all have a mandated duty to report child abuse, child abuse, right? I'm telling you, there is help out there. Let's say you reported it, and the social worker comes and your parents, they talk a real good game, because I've seen this happen before. The parents will come, they'll talk, the social worker will come to the parents, and the parents will talk a real good game. Oh, the child, blah, 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 and they don't believe you. Well, I want you to know there are people out here who will believe you. If that social worker is not working out, they're not doing their job, don't feel like you're stuck, because what happens is, when you tell your truth and you say what happens, and then when the investigation comes and nothing happens, and what it does, it emboldens the abuser, because now they're like, well, see, you went and you told your school and nothing happened, you told your the police and nothing happened, and it can make you feel like, wow, I'm hopeless, that I'm lost, there's no opportunity, that nobody cares about me. It makes you feel like maybe I'm wrong, because now all of the adults in your life have sided with the abusive parent, right? Because anybody can look good for a minute. Parents, they know what to say. Abusers know what to say. But I'm telling you, if you're listening to me, don't stop there. You are worth it. If you are listening to this broadcast, if you are listening to me, if somehow you found, your way to this broadcast, I want you to know that you are worth it as a child. You are worth it. You have a lot of potential. And what is happening is that sexual abuse, that physical abuse is coming to destroy that potential that's in you. What that abuse is trying to do is trying to put you in a position where now you're a teenager, not teenager, but when now you're 19, 20, 30, 40, 50, and it's putting you in a position where you can't live, where you can't enjoy your life because of what happened to you in the past. You can't be free. You can't laugh. You can't truly be happy because of the abuse that your mother, your brother, your father, your grandfather, your uncle, your big cousin, or just a neighborhood guy or girl abused you and what they did. So now, you're trying to live in your 30s and 40s, and you can't really be happy because of what happened when you were 14, when you were 15. What I'm telling you now, if you are a child under the age of 18, that sexual abuse, physical abuse is not your fault, And that is not what God has designed for you to do. You were not put here on earth to be, as I said before, someone else's sex toy. That is their problem. It is not your problem. I want you to know that there are people out here who care about you. If you talk to the social worker, you make the report, they come out, your parents are good talkers, and they talk their way out of the situation and nothing happens, then I want you to know that you need to tell it again. You need to keep telling your story again, because you are worth it. Do not let the fact that it seems like nobody believes you makes you think that you're not worth it, because you are worth it. You are worth being protected. You are worth having people care about you. You do not have to have people, sexually abuse you or beat you or take advantage of you. You are worth more than that. They have the problem, not you. You have a right. All right, to be free of sexual abuse. You have a right to be free of physical abuse. You have a right to have no one touch your body. You have a right, to not to be talked to like a dog. You have a right, right? You have a right to have food, right? Now sometimes, we all, parents, we fall on hard times. That's one thing. It's one thing when you have a parent who is trying to get you food and get clothes, and sometimes parents just don't have it. But I'm not talking about those situations. But I'm talking about situations where some of you in homes where your parents get food stamps. They get money. And as soon as they get the money, they spend it on drugs. As soon as they get the money, they spend it on alcohol, or they spend it on women, or they spend it on clothes, or they spend it on everything else except you, and now you and your sibling don't have food. That is not how it's supposed to work. You are worth having food. You are worth it. And I really, let me slow down and make sure I'm clear. A young adult, you are worth it. You are worth the effort. You are worth people loving you and loving you the right way. You are worth, having people care about you. God cares about you. There are people out here who care about you, and that care doesn't involve you engaging in sexual activities. Okay? You do not have to. You should not have to put up with your grandfather putting his hands down your pants. You should not. That is not how that works. That is not what is supposed to happen. You do not have to. You should not have a situation where your mother's boyfriend or your father is crawling in bed with you and making you have sex with him, or making you kiss him, or making you rub him in certain areas, or at all, or no areas if you don't want to. You are worth it. Again, 1-800-422-4453. 1-800-422-4453. This is the Child Helpline. You could call this number 24/7 and let them know, hey, I'm being taken advantage of, I'm being sexually abused by my mother, my grandmother, whoever it is, any adult, any person. It could even be your brother, sister, the same age. You don't have to allow that. You are worth more than that, okay? Again, if you're in this situation and you're listening to me, police officer, firefighter, emergency room, doctors, medical doctors, nurses, teachers are supposed to, principals are supposed to, but they don't always do it, unfortunately. But principals, teachers, all of these people are supposed to report. And then when you report, there is supposed to be, quote, an evaluation that's done. Sometimes the first time the parents, they get out of it. Okay, so now, and they just do a talk, oh, well, I don't know why he said that, I don't know why she said that, she just going through certain things, blah, 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 blah. And unfortunately, no one ever kind of asks, well, why is this child going through these certain things, right? They just focus it all on you. They just focus on your bad behavior. No one ever asks the question, well, how did we get here, right? And no one ever asks, because you unfortunately become the bad, quote-unquote, bad seed, quote-unquote, you become the bad person. I want you to know you're not the bad person. Right? I want you to know you're not the bad seed. Your parent, what's happening in your home is the problem. You are not the problem. What's happening around you is the problem. The problem is that you're surrounded by adults who are not protecting you as they should. That is the problem. You're surrounded by adults who are making excuses for what's going on. They are the problem. You are not the problem. 1-800-422-4453. That's the number to Child Help. 1-800-422-4453. That is the number to Child Help. Firefighter, police officer, Primary care doctors, social workers. You tell somebody once, you tell them a second time, you tell them a third time, you keep telling them until you get some help. That social worker, like as I said, parents abusers are real good. They talk a real good game. They know what to say. They know how to get over on the system. They get over on one social worker. They get over on the second one. You keep calling that number until you get help, because you are worth it. You are worth it. Okay? You are worth people caring about you. You are worth people protecting you. You do not deserve to be sexually abused. You do not deserve to be taken advantage by your mother's boyfriend. You do not deserve to be taken advantage by your grandmother, your grandfather, your uncle, your big cousin. You are worth it. So again, just wanted to come briefly. I think I titled this was 3 things as a child. You are 3 things as a child you do not deserve. Number 1, being physically abused. 2, being sexually abused. 3, being made to be beaten, not having food, to be put down. You don't deserve those things. There's help out there. So when you're asking, well, where's God? God is in people, right? Good people who want to help you, and there are good people out here who will help you. 1-800-422-4453. 1-800-422-4453. This is the number to Child Help. And remember, firefighters, police officers, right? As I said, it's supposed to be the teachers and principals. They're supposed to, but if they don't, firefighters, police officers, primary care doctors, and you tell them once, you keep telling them, you keep talking until you get some help, because you're worth it. Again, this has been It's Getting Better All the Time Mental Health Outreach, providing information and support while encouraging hope and faith. IGBATT.com. And just remember, you